What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, I want to touch on one of the biggest areas of concern for the New England Patriots, and it's something that you wouldn't expect, especially not from what we have seen historically, especially just the past couple of years from the New England Patriots defense, and that is their secondary and how there is legitimate concern for this secondary heading into the 2021 season and especially beyond. Now, as we all know, questions are definitely going to arise for this secondary once the 2021 season is over. So basically heading into the 2021 offseason or the 2022 offseason, or it would technically be the 2022 offseason. But that's obviously because Stephon Gilmore, at least as of right now, not under contract. He will be a free agent at the end of the season. J.C. Jackson, also going to be a free agent at the end of the season. That is your two starting cornerbacks, and were just both voted as two top 100 players. Both are going to be getting massive contracts. Unfortunately for New England, they also don't really have depth behind those guys. New England has always had pretty good depth within the secondary. They've had guys who are able to play pretty much everywhere, whether that is safety, free safety, strong safety, hybrid linebacker, close to the line of scrimmage, left cornerback, right cornerback, slot cornerback. But unfortunately, that depth is slowly starting to deplete for this team, and we are seeing that with the number one cornerback that Stephon Gilmore is being out of the lineup for this entire offseason. This all really starts when Jason McCourty left in free agency. A lot of people really got on Jason McCourty for his play. Some people thought that he wasn't consistent enough for their liking, but Jason McCourty was probably as good of a CB3 as you are going to find in the league, especially because he brought versatility not just to the cornerback position, but also to safety. And I really think that this is something that Patriots fans are now seeing due to J.C. Jackson getting thrusted into the number one starting role for cornerback and Jalen Mills starting as CB2. Currently, right now, for the 2021 season, at least before complete roster cutdowns, New England for their secondary has Stephon Gilmore, Jalen Mills, Juwan Williams, D. Virgin, Malik Gant, Adrian Colbert, Cody Davis, Devin McCourty, Adrian Phillips, Kyle Duggar, Justin Bethel, Miles Bryant, D'Angelo Ross, Jonathan Jones, and J.C. Jackson. Now, from a starting perspective, if New England can keep all of those guys, at least for 2021, I think we'll be fine. If the team can stay healthy, I think that we will be fine. But we also have to look from a reality perspective and understand that Stephon Gilmore is still dealing with some type of question mark, whether that is contract related or whether that is injury related. We have not seen him at all this offseason, and the regular season, guys, it's right around the bend, and these question marks are still a concern for Stephon Gilmore. Now, J.C. Jackson has looked really good, and I think that he can slide into CB1 if needed. I very much believe that he is not going to be a shutdown CB1 corner that Stephon Gilmore is, and I do still think that you will see a difference of J.C. Jackson from CB1 to CB2, but nonetheless, I still think he's going to get the job done as it needs to be. But then you have to slide Jalen Mills into likely CB2. If you're not going with Jalen Mills, then you're going with Juwan Williams, which either way is not good for this team. And let's also remember, guys like D. Virgin, Malik Gant, Adrian Colbert, these are guys that likely are going to be released for 53-man roster cutdowns. Someone like Cody Davis, he's a special teamer. He's really not a safety. He's not going to give you much in that depth. I mean, Justin Bethel can also play some cornerback. I wouldn't hate to see him there from time to time, but the Patriots haven't really put him there. So because of what we've seen from camp, I don't think that that's a guy that they would be comfortable with putting in the secondary. For me, more concern comes with cornerback rather than safety, because guys like Adrian Phillips, Devin McCourty, Kyle Duggar, and Miles Bryant, those are all guys that are going to be playing safety, okay? Jonathan Jones also is not going to be playing outside cornerback. I think that that's going to give the Patriots more concern. Jonathan Jones is one of the best slot corners in this entire league, at least how PFF has graded him. So I don't think you want to cause more potential issues for yourself to try to move him to outside cornerback. He is undersized anyway, so keeping him within the slot going up against faster, smaller receivers is still the best option for this Patriots defense and for Jonathan Jones to succeed. So I know a lot of people have said try to put him on the outside. That's not something I would do. It does also go to say that Patriots' second-year safety in Kyle Duggar has struggled this offseason. We're talking a lot about him making the second-year leap, and I still think that he can, but there's question marks on where the Patriots are going to play him. Adrian Phillips, I think, is going to be spectacular for this team. I really hope that they can get a contract extension done with him. I would actually play Adrian Phillips at strong safety and play Kyle Duggar at free safety because, one, Kyle Duggar played free safety in college. The Patriots switched him to strong safety. And two, Kyle Duggar's having a hard time in camp, in preseason, going up against guys like tight ends, bigger receivers. But just in general, his coverage is not as good as you would hope it would have, especially for a guy in his second-year leap. Now, something that we have seen this offseason in joint practice with the Eagles, in training camp, and even our first preseason game against the Washington football team is that without Stephon Gilmore, this secondary has legitimate issues. We've seen Jalen Mills struggle continuously as CB2 and just as a cornerback in general. I think the better place to put him is in slot where Jonathan Jones is, or is to put him as a safety, as that is where he has excelled more. I mean, I'm still not 100% sure what the plan for Jalen Mills is after he got a big 4-year contract. But Mills was struggling a little bit against the Washington football team. You know, quarterbacks went his way 3 total times. Jalen Mills allowed 2 out of those 3 receptions for 29 yards, and quarterbacks had a passer rating of 97.9 when going Jalen Mills' way. Let's also remember that this is preseason. This is preseason receivers, preseason quarterbacks, and there was even multiple times where I saw Jalen Mills actually get bailed out by a bad throw from the opposing corner. Not to mention the fact that 3 of Washington's drives in the first half went for over 10 plays, and the Patriots defense struggled to get off the field. They allowed 7 conversions on 11 third downs over that time period. Now, Juwan Williams is someone who quietly had a pretty decent game against the Washington football team. We'll have to see if he can continue this up. He was targeted 3 times by opposing quarterbacks against the Washington football team. He allowed 1 reception for 18 yards, 1 interception, 1 pass broken up, and quarterbacks had a passer rating of 15.3 when going his way. Now, that sounds pretty dang good and someone that you think you could rely on as a CB2 to a CB3, but all camp long, it looks like Juwan Williams has been struggling. I was currently present, not currently, but for a few days, say the first week of Patriots training camp, I was present, and from what I heard from the media after that, Juwan Williams just continues to struggle in coverage. And something that was great about Juwan Williams coming out of college was that he was great in a man press defense. I think that Juwan Williams still can be a good cornerback. I think the mental aspect is what is holding him back. It seems like he is always just 1 step slow mentally, and because of that, physically, he's always 1 step behind any receiver that he's going against. The problem here for the Patriots is that they have had a very sustainable secondary with the same players for the last several years. It's consisted of Stephon Gilmore, it's consisted of Jonathan Jones, it's consisted of J.C. Jackson for the last several years, but you've also had Jason McCourty. And really behind those starters, the team never genuinely had good depth. And I think now that is what is coming back, and that is what is biting them in the butt. Again, I think that they should be okay at safety. It does concern me a little bit with if Devin McCourty does retire after the season, but I still think that's something the team can figure out. I think Kyle Duggar will still be able to figure things out as time goes on. I like Myles Bryant. I think if they can get an extension done with Adrian Phillips, they will be fine there, but it is the cornerback position that definitely concerns me the most. The depth that the Patriots have behind J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore is pretty much non-existent. At the end of the day, you do not want Jalen Mills being CB1 or CB2. Ask Philadelphia that. You don't want to have Michael Jackson. You don't want to have D. Virgin. You don't want to have D'Angelo Ross. And from what we've seen so far, you don't want Juwan Williams there either. I still think this team can figure it out. I think there's some additions that they can add. You would have liked to see them go another route in free agency too, maybe pick up another legitimate option within their secondary at the cornerback position, or even at least draft a guy, but they didn't do either or. Someone that I really think could help this team out, and someone who I'm likely going to make a video on, is someone they brought in for a visit a few months ago but never ultimately signed. That is cornerback and still free agent Dre Kirkpatrick. I think that he would be a good addition for this team. The Patriots are a little bit familiar with him. They played him this past season when he was with the Cardinals. He would be a very, very decent CB3 for this team, and at the very least is going to give them legitimate depth and also legitimate veteran depth, which is something that I think this defense needs also. At this point, the team needs to have a veteran presence who can step in and can comfortably play as CB3 or at least be a depth piece, potentially CB2 if need be. And I think Dre Kirkpatrick is probably the best option currently for the Patriots as a free agent. The team going out and trading for another Michael Jackson or picking up a free agent D'Angelo Ross, it's not going to help this team. It's not going to make a difference. At this point, those guys are fringe roster players and someone you kind of just keep on the roster during the offseason. Maybe even a practice squad player. But no one you are going to consistently rely on game in and game out to be a depth piece. If you have to at some point put on D'Angelo Ross, Juwan Williams, Michael Jackson as CB1 to CB3, then you have a very big concern for your defense. Bill Belichick really did vamp up this defensive line. He really vamped up this linebacker core, and something that I haven't heard anywhere else, and something that I've really been thinking is maybe Belichick knows about the secondary issues. He wasn't able to address it as much as he would have liked. Yes, we did need to get to the quarterback. Yes, we did need to stop the run much better, but let's see, over the last couple of years, the Patriots secondary has been the main focus of, one of the main focuses of the team, but the main focus of the defense because of an underparred defensive line. The Patriots' elite secondary has helped that defensive line in more ways than people realize because the quarterback cannot make quick, decisive throws because of the elite secondary that the team has, being able to cover these receivers, tight ends, running backs out of the backfield for extended periods of time, which then gives the defensive line more time to get to the quarterback. Belichick could be seeing the secondary as an issue, knowing the issues and also knowing he wasn't able to address it in the adequate way that he probably would have liked to this offseason, so he revamps that defensive line so that the quarterback doesn't have a whole lot of time to be able to make reads, to let his receivers get open, to go through his progressions. But that's just a theory of mine, and I'm curious to see your guys' thoughts on it. But before we end this video off, I do want to talk about the sponsors of this video, BetOnline.ag. BetOnline has the fastest and the easiest ways to bet on all of your sports action. Football might be over, but NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are a full swing. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV with real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline also has you covered for all of the news, scores, and odds, and it's the best way to place your bets, and it's completely free to sign up. All you guys got to do is use the website or go to your mobile device and sign up today to receive that 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore. Get in with the action, and don't forget to use that promo code CLNS50 to receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. But guys, this is my thoughts on the Patriots secondary. I don't think that everyone realizes the legitimate concern that it is because you have Stephon Gilmore and J.C. Jackson, but there is a big underlying issue behind the scene that I think needed to be talked about. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. Like always, remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, y'all, I appreciate you for watching this video. Catch you in the next one. Go Pats.